Greetings everybody, Grandpa Zed here, bringing you a showcase of Granny Citlali, and not just any showcase. This is going to be a full-on whale showcase. For those of you who are uninitiated to my channel, that's what we do here. We showcase C6 characters, and Citlali here will be no different. So prepare yourself, you're going to see some crazy damage numbers here. Now, I did a community post asking my viewers what teams you would like to see with Citlali. Citlali is a support character, so there's a lot of options for teams that you can put her in. And while there were a lot of great suggestions that we're going to do, I do want to make a couple caveats here. One, we are only in this video going to be showing Citlali in a support role. There will be a future video for DPS Citlali. I have that coming up soon, so hang on for that one. And two, we're only going to be focusing on her support roles where she truly shines. This is, of course, with Pyro and Hydro DPS supports. So we're not going to be doing anything weird like other cryo characters because she doesn't really boost other cryo characters that well. There's a lot of other supports that are better suited for that. We're just going to be sticking to Pyro and Hydro for this video. And lastly, although we did C6R5 Mawika, we are not showcasing her as a DPS in this video. We did that in the last video, so if you missed it, check it out. All right, so let's get into my Citlali specifically. I'm going to kind of go over the constellations, what artifacts I have on her, what her stats look like. I'm going to kind of assume from this that you have a base understanding of what Citlali does at a base level. I'm not going to cover every single detail like what her E and her Q specifically do. I'm going to kind of assume you know a little bit about that already. If you don't, go watch a guide video. This isn't necessarily a guide video. I just kind of want to showcase my Citlali. Now, we'll start with the constellations. I will kind of cover what the constellations do because I think that's kind of the most interesting part. Not a lot of guides really get into what the constellations do because a lot of guides are C0 guides. We C6 every 5-star character. So we're going to get into what the constellations do very briefly here. Let's talk about Citlali's C1. This constellation kind of reminds me a little bit of Shenhe's Quills. You basically gain 10 stacks of what's called Stellar Blade, and for 10 instances that your team does damage, they gain bonus damage based on Citlali's Elemental Mastery. You also gain 3 extra stacks every time you do a frozen or melt reaction. This can only happen once every 8 seconds. So you're kind of looking at about 13 or 16 stacks of the Stellar Blade every rotation. Pretty good, buffs the team, can't go wrong there. I do want to mention that with Citlali at a baseline, you want to build Elemental Mastery as much as possible. It is her stat that she cares about the most, but this constellation makes you want to build it even more. So keep that in mind. C2 gives her a flat buff of 125 Elemental Mastery when you use your E. It also gives everyone on your team 250 Elemental Mastery, which is absolutely crazy. This is great for Pyro DPSs, especially because you're going to be doing a lot of melt reactions, a lot of extra bonus damage. This constellation is pretty nutty. If you're playing Mawika, you're playing Arlecchino, Diluc even, Gaming, anything like that, this constellation is bonkers. As if that wasn't crazy enough, this also improves her Ascension passive, which reduces enemies' elemental resistance to Pyro and Hydro 20%. This tacks on another 20%, bringing it to a total of 40%. Absolutely crazy. The value on this constellation is pretty insane to me. Real quick, let's talk about C3 and C5. These are very basic. They just increase the damage of your skill and your burst. Nothing to write home about. Citlali's abilities are not the main focus of damage on your team. She is strictly a support, so these constellations are pretty lackluster, especially the burst one. Nothing to write home about. If you play as a DPS, this could get a little crazy, but for this video, we're doing support only, so this is pretty negligible for this showcase. All right, and moving on to the C4, this basically makes it so that when you use your skill, a Obsidian Spirit Vessel Skull is summoned that does a bunch of damage based on Citlali's Elemental Mastery. Now, Citlali isn't really damage focused, especially in this video. We're kind of showing her support capabilities. So this isn't like super crazy, but we are getting a bunch of additional damage. 1800% of Citlali's Elemental Mastery is nothing to scoff at. The really nice part about this is it does apply more cryo, so having more cryo on the enemy is definitely a benefit, more so than the damage, in my opinion. But I haven't actually ran any numbers. This is kind of just from a fields crafting standpoint. Also, in my opinion, this is probably one of the better parts, is you get extra Night Soul points because you're in your Night Soul Blessing state, and you get extra energy so you don't have to build for ER quite as much on your artifacts. Pretty decent for a C4, I'd say. Kind of does a lot. Nothing super crazy, but not also terribly weak either. Now, C6 is where it gets truly nutty. Basically what happens when you're playing C5 or less, you have to generate 50 Night Soul points in your Night Soul Blessing state in order for its Papa to go into Opal Fire mode, which is basically where he's pissed off and he's attacking things, and you create like a stronger ice field around yourself. With C6, you do not have to worry about this at all. You skip that part completely. Its Papa is permanently in the Opal Fire state. He's permanently pissed off, and you're always creating that ice storm around Citlali permanently, which is super nice. Now, the other interesting thing about this is, since you don't have to generate Night Soul points anymore, basically what happens is any Night Soul points you generate slowly depletes, and its Papa transforms those points into additional pyro and hydro damage for your team. All right, so what you're going to notice here is I'm going to do my skill, and you'll notice its Papa is permanently in his Opal Fire state. He's pissed off, he's raring to go. And you'll notice too that my bar is completely depleted. Watch when I do my burst here. I gain some Night Soul points and they slowly decay. That was 24 Night Soul points we got from doing our burst. We gained some more here. You can see when you do your E, the bar is completely depleted. I start with nothing because it just basically is like, nope, you don't need it. You're in Opal Fire state. Just generate Night Soul points and absorb them so that its Papa can do more damage for your team. Bro, we just got roasted. We just got roasted. And then, of course, I would be completely remiss if I didn't show you the extra benefit from C6 Fiorina. Oh, wait. This is Citlali. I forgot. Wait. For a second, I thought I was playing Fiorina. Why would I think that? Why would I think that all of a sudden I was playing Fiorina? I don't get it. All right, let's start with the build here. I'm going to showcase my specific build. We have the weapon here. We did R5 Star Caller's Watch. We did that with Mawika's weapon. We got them both to R5. Basically, this weapon is obviously her best in slot. We get 200 flat Elemental Mastery straight off the gate. You're going to notice when I show the stats, the Elemental Mastery on this character is insane. Not only do we get the flat 200 Elemental Mastery, we also get an extra 56% bonus elemental damage for the entire team, which is crazy. Basically, because Citlali can create a shield, she generates this for the party with this weapon. 56% is crazy. Absolutely nutty. Talents here, we are at 999. Luckily, Citlali does not use the new weekly boss materials for Ascension. It uses the Arlecchino mat, so we were able to 999 her straight out the gate, which is really, really nice. Obviously, because we have the C3 and the C5, this goes to 91212. Very, very cool. All right, and then for artifacts, of course, we are using the 4-piece Cinder City set. She's basically the best person on any given team to utilize this set. The 2-piece gives her extra energy so she can get her burst back quicker. And then, of course, the 4-piece, whenever you create an elemental reaction that involves cryo using her, she gives the entire team a 42% elemental bonus damage buff, which is crazy. If you think about it, the 42% from this and the 56% from this, we're getting 98%, almost 100% elemental bonus damage, which is actually kind of nutty. Now, as far as the artifacts and the stats go, we are playing her in a support role. So we are focusing the stats not on her damage, but on her ability to boost the team and debuff enemies. So First priority is elemental mastery. Second priority is energy recharge. And even energy recharge, she doesn't need that much. Like I said earlier, the C4 gives her extra energy. The 2-piece Cinder City bonus gives some extra energy. Her energy requirements at C6 are not very high, but we did focus on energy recharge over other stats that might boost her damage, such as crit rate and crit damage. So you can see here, I have a flower, 84 EM with 4.5% energy recharge. We are using, funnily enough, an off-piece feather that has 93 elemental mastery. And then we have a Sands with main stat elemental mastery, 21.4% energy recharge. Goblet, elemental mastery main stat, 12.3% energy recharge in the substats. And then a Circlet, also elemental mastery main stat with 16.2 energy recharge. So again, we focus primarily on elemental mastery across the board. We have triple elemental mastery on Sands, Goblet, and Circlet, and then we just pile on as much energy recharge as possible. Now, this is not super optimal. Again, once you hit the energy recharge threshold that you need, you don't really need more energy recharge. I'm pretty sure I'm way over capped on energy recharge, and I could focus on stats like crit rate and crit damage. If I really, really wanted to make her a true support powerhouse, we might as well increase her damage at that point. The reason I haven't done that is because it's a low investment priority for me. I have a lot of other characters that I want to build better. This is not top of the line, top priority for me to build. Honestly, I'm fully happy with how she's turned out in her support role. I don't need to try to like min-max her crit rate and crit damage to improve her attack. It's just not a priority. It's not where I want to spend my more right now. So we're going with the support role. It's just a lot easier at this point. Showcasing the stats, my God, 1441 EM. Absolutely crazy. She's kind of Kazuha-esque in this regard. Kazuha is another character that really only needs elemental mastery and energy recharge in the support role. Kazuha's elemental mastery does not get anywhere near this high. I'm happy if Kazuha breaks 1000 EM. Even with full EM on the artifacts, EM weapon, etc., Citlali hitting almost 1500 EM is absolutely insane. So the EM is doing a lot of things, and this is why we want to build for EM. Her shield that she creates when you use your E, the strength of the shield is based on her elemental mastery. We also have her C1, like I mentioned earlier, the stacks of Stellar Blade that she's getting, that's based on elemental mastery. If you look at her talents, her A4 passive is based on elemental mastery. You're basically increasing damage based on elemental mastery. And then also the C4, like I mentioned earlier as well, is based on elemental mastery. So for me, just building elemental mastery as top priority seems like the smart thing to do. If I really wanted to optimize her build, I get as much crit rate and crit damage on there on top of that and minimize her ER, but we haven't gotten that far. All right, guys, the time has come. We're going to fully test out some of these teams with Citlali. We're going to start with Father Arlecchino. This is the team I'm the most excited to see. I have not played this team before filming this. I have not even tried it. I don't know what the damage is going to look like on this team, and I'm really excited to see it. I waited for filming this video to basically test this team and see what it could do. I do want to showcase my Arlecchino really quickly because, one, I'm really proud of her, and in the last month, I've rolled my best artifact on my account that she currently uses, and I kind of really want to show that off. So, of course, we have C6 Arlecchino with her weapon at R5. Talents are going to be 12, 9, 12. We haven't crowned anything yet, but we have her talents maxed out. Artifacts, we are running her on 4-piece Whimsy. Now, these artifacts are going to be pretty busted, but this is a top 1% Arlecchino. Now, keep in mind, Arlecchino on Akasha is very competitive. There's over like 450,000 submissions, so it's kind of like Raiden. She's like a top pick character. This is the piece, guys. Over 50 CV on an onset attack Sands. Absolutely crazy. If that wasn't enough, we also have an elemental mastery substat Now, the HP percent is pretty cringe, I have to admit, but we'll take it. It's still, oh my god, I love this piece so much. When I got this piece, I literally fell over dead. Just absolutely insane. I've been playing since 1.0, and I whale refresh resin constantly. This is my first and only 50 CV piece, and I only got it recently. So, truly, truly a blessing. She's absolutely cracked. The real thing holding her back is the goblet. I don't really have a lot of great pyro goblets, sadly. This is only 26 CV with 65 EM. Now, the EM is giving. We definitely want EM with her, especially if we're playing her on my new favorite team with Melt. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite team yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be my new favorite team with Melt. The circlet is also pretty fire, 25 CV crit damage on the substats with an elemental mastery roll as well. So pretty cracked. We have her stats here. I think I said, wait, let's see what the attack is. 2378 on the attack. We have 81.9 out of 225.2 crit rate versus crit damage. Keep in mind, her C6 does give her 10% crit rate. So that is important with her C6. Her stats are actually 91.9 over 225.2. Now, the crit damage, like I said, if I had a better goblet that just had more crit damage on it, I think we could get this really high. But the elemental mastery is base 98, which we kind of need. I mean, the elemental mastery is pretty low. I would say for a on-field DPS, you kind of want to hit over 100, 150 elemental mastery minimum. 200 is great if you have an elemental mastery sans, but the point is we don't have 0, okay? We have 98, still pretty decent. We have some good substat rolls there, not bad. 122.7 energy recharge, decent. I never have trouble with her burst. Her burst does not give me trouble, so all good there. All right, guys, are you ready? I am so stoked for this. This is crazy. Now, we did, like I said, we did Mawika in the last week's video, and that was insane. But Mawika has like that crazy burst that just instantly kills everything, especially at C6R5. Arlecchino has that too. We have her burst, which I'm sure is going to do a ton of damage. Not quite as crazy as Mawika, but I'm sure it's going to do a ton of damage. We're going to try a run without her burst, okay? We're just going to E an attack after doing the rotation, and we're going to see what her attacks look like, guys. Are you ready? Let's go. We're going to do this first. We're going to crystallize with Xilonen. By the way, Xilonen is on Archaic Petra. All right, let's see the charge here. What the 500? Bro, we 500k almost on those first front-loaded attacks. My god, we almost hit 500k. Bro, that's crazy. 500k, that's insane. That's actually insane. Okay, we have to try again and hit 500k, I think. I feel like I should mention this. Xilonen is also C6R5 with her signature weapon, and I have her on Archaic Petra because Citlali is on Cinder City, and then I have Bennett on Noblesse, and we're using Aquila Favonia for as much base attack as possible on his burst. Oh, and by the way, his skill is Crown too, so there you go. All right, let's try this again one more time. See if we can hit 500k. I am so hyped for 500k. Let's go. Bro, where'd he go? Oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, that wasn't 500k, that was almost 600k. What did I do differently that made that do 600k? Did I have more, oh, guys, it's because I had more Bond of Life, I bet. I had more Bond of Life. The first time I didn't have Bond of Life, and now I have some Bond of Life saved up. That's why. Interesting. Okay, I forgot about that. You can load in with Bond of Life or not have Bond of Life. So you can see at the bottom, I have Bond of Life. That means the abilities are going to do more damage. So we should probably get rid of that. The way I usually get rid of that is I switch teams and then switch back. We want it to be fair, guys. We want it to be fair. You know, like, it's not fair loading in with Bond of Life. Okay, we shouldn't do that. Bond of Life is 0. We're going to go in with Bennett E to crystallize first. We don't need to do Arlecchino's E because we have C6. So she doesn't need that 5-second window after doing her E before she uses her charged attack. So let's do Bennett E first. Make sure we get the crystallize. Okay, perfect. The window for Archaic Petra is really short, though. There we go, 500k. Okay, I think the Archaic Petra, I don't think I was picking up Crystallize before, would be my guess. But when we make sure we get the Crystallize, I don't know if Arlecchino's E applies enough Pyro to make Crystallize. Like that, I'm not 100% sure of. But let's test that really fast. So apply a Pyro Aura? I assume it does, right? Yeah, he has a Pyro Aura. Yeah, it gets crystallized, so yeah, I don't know what was happening there. Either I wasn't noticing it or yeah, I'm not exactly sure. All right, so we're going in with no Bond of Life. We're going to test Arlecchino's burst now. I do want to mention it's important to E with Arlecchino first to crystallize with Shalona. You don't want to do it with Bennett first because you want Arlecchino's burst to melt. So if you have to go in with Arlecchino and do E, then Q, her E might melt and then her burst might not. So we're going to start with Arlecchino's E first. And then we have to make sure Jalonin gets the crystallize. Perfect. Let's see what Arlecchino can do. Let's go, baby! We didn't... Let's go! 3 million, baby! Let's go! 3 million, holy smokes! That's crazy. Okay, I feel like I'm a little spoiled with Mawika because Mawika did like 5 million, right? But you have to remember that I think Arlecchino has better follow-up. Once you do her E and then charge again, and you start normal attacking with her, her normal attacks do, for me, 400,000 plus damage. So she has a lot of great follow-up, where I feel like Mawika only does like 200, 250k on her charged attacks with her bike. So the burst is a little bit lower, but the following charge attacks do more. So it feels like they're pretty on par. Okay, now we're going to artificially boost Arlecchino's Bond of Life before the start of the fight. The reason we do this is because of the C6, the Bale Moon Rising, which is her burst, does extra damage based on her attack and her current Bond of Life percentage. So we're going to artificially inflate that, and we're going to see how much damage we can do on it. All right, so as you guys can see, we've cheated the Bond of Life. I have a full bar of Bond of Life. Let's fucking go. Make sure we get the crystallize. We got it. Come on, 4 million, baby. Let's go 4 million. Let's go. Hell yeah. Oh, that's awesome. 4 million. Let's go. No buffs. No anything, no abyss buffs, no item buffs, no food buffs. That's actually crazy. 4 million, holy smokes. Now we're gonna try to break the damage cap with Arlecchino at some point, but that's not gonna be for this video. That will be another video eventually, but we're gonna try to break 10 million with her. I have some ideas on how to do that. I think it's very, very doable for me now. All right, guys, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're going to move on to the next character, Neuvillette. Behind Arlecchino, I'm really curious to see what our Hydro Dragon himself can do. We all know he needed a buff, and maybe Citlali was that buff that he needed so desperately. We're going to be running a C6R5 Neuvillette as well on 4-piece Maréchaussée Hunter. I won't show the artifacts here. There's nothing like super crazy, but talents are 13, 9, 12. We have crowned his normal attacks. And here's just his stats really quick. Maréchaussée Hunter gets 36% crit rate. So we're basically at like 92% crit rate, somewhere in that range. 91.9, I believe, with 308% crit damage. Energy recharge doesn't really matter. We have a little bit of elemental mastery, but that doesn't matter. We're not vaping here. And then our HP is a whopping 57,702. So kind of crazy there. And we are also running a C6R5 Furina. And just really quickly, these are my Furina stats. We're not going to go too much into that. Furina's not the one being showcased here. All right, let's see what our boy Neuvillette here can do. Let's go. I'm going to actually burst here with Jalonin to help the healing. just for Furina's stacks. I feel like that's useful. Let's go. 375. I saw 375. I swear to God, I saw 375. Wait a minute. That's definitely peak. I feel like my highest Neuvillette before this is like 318 or 320k. Bro, so good. I don't think Citlali's like crazy good for him, but I think it's definitely useful. That's for sure. Kaza was also pretty good for him too, so it's hard to find someone on this team to actually replace. I try to go in with full health on everyone because then Furina's stacks don't get kind of messed up. You know, everyone's got full health, so let's try one more time. Boom. Let's go. 356. I saw 356 for sure. I think what ends up happening is the Archaic Petra buff wears off pretty quickly. It only lasts for 10 seconds, so you have to consider that. Archaic Petra falls off really fast, so unless you're doing it right before your DPS goes on field, it falls off fast. And especially with all the burst animations taking up a lot of time, I think that's part of it. But I mean, I saw 356k right there at the end, so pretty insane. Pretty insane, Neuvillette. Bro, needed a buff. All right, another character I've really wanted to try is Gaming. We have a C6 Gaming with this new weapon that we got from an event a few patches ago. Basically increases his plunging crit rate by 32% and also gives him extra damage for plunging attacks. We're using him on 4-piece Crimson, which makes more sense than Mara Chasse because of the extra crit rate we get from Fruit Hook. We don't need that much extra crit rate. We're also trying him without Furina, so that makes a pretty big difference as well. Talents also 9, 12, 12 with the C6. Here is kind of the full stats we have. 33% base crit rate, plus the 32% we get from the weapon. We also get 20% from his C6 as well. And then we almost hit 200 crit damage without a crit damage weapon, which I think is pretty impressive, honestly. Really quick, here's the C6 showing the extra crit rate and crit damage. So we also get 40% crit damage from the C6 as well, which is pretty impressive. If you are curious, my Xianyun has over 4,000 attack. And we're using her on 4-piece Viridescent as well. And of course, there's the C2 with the 999 talents because she's only C2. Womp womp. We'll fix that soon. She just needs a rerun, okay? All right, guys. I'm not a Gaming main, so bear with me here. I don't know exactly what the best perfect rotation to do is, so just bear with me on this, guys. We're gonna try something new here, okay? Hey, let's go! 300k! 367! Now, the Bennett buff wears off really fast. Holy smokes. The Bennett buff did wear off, but we're melting every hit, basically. Okay. It's pretty good, I mean, we got him to below half health for a 4-star. It's kind of crazy. We'll give it one more try. All right, let's try this one more time. Wait, was that 942? Did that say 942? I must be crazy. There's no way it said 942. That's insane if it said 942. Can we get... Oh, I didn't E first with Citlali. I didn't E first with Citlali. And I don't have his burst. Oh, we're so close, guys. Bro, we're actually crushing him, though. Holy smokes. Bro, that was pretty strong. And I mean, I messed up with Citlali on the second half there. I forgot the E first. I don't know if you Q and then E with her. I think that kind of messes up her Night Soul. I would assume at least a little bit. But I don't know that for a fact. Holy smokes, Gaming coming in clutch. All right, another team I really want to try out is Chasca, obviously because Chasca does so well with Citlali. Citlali is one of Chasca's better supports, and now that she's out, it feels like Chasca could be a little bit stronger. I do regret to inform you guys I only C2 Chasca. What am I thinking? We will C6 her next time she comes out, but for now, we only have C2, which is a little bit of a bummer. But we do have 999 talents. I have her on 4-piece Codex. We have her weapon, her signature weapon at R1. And then these are her stats with Codex. She has 94.1% crit rate with 255.3% crit damage. Elemental Mastery does not matter for her as much. Or maybe it does with all the vaping and stuff that you're doing, but no EM. Does that matter for her? Tell me down below if that matters for her. She's the one doing all the vaping and things, so you'd think it would matter. But I never really thought about that. Holy smokes. Not a Chasca main as well. I don't really like her that much, to be honest. But you didn't hear me say that. You didn't hear me say it. She's great for exploring, don't get me wrong, but I don't really like her gameplay as much, so sue me. Okay, let's give this a go. See what we can do. Bro, okay, wait, this is insane for C2? No, what? I didn't even burst. Holy smokes, that was crazy. Wow. Let's also try it with C6 Shenhe, because C6 Shenhe gets the infinite quills on charged attack damage. So I think that stacks with Chasca. So I kind of want to see if we're only doing melts and we're using Shenhe with Citlali, how well that could work. Let's find out. I'm actually super curious. All right, let's go. I forget if it's tap or hold, so we're gonna do both for Shenhe, because I forget. Where is it? Let's go. Okay. Definitely not as strong. Yeah, definitely not as strong. Like Furina was definitely helping there. Okay. So, yeah, and I don't know if the quills actually work with Shenhe on the infinite quills with the Chasca's charge attack. I actually don't know that for sure. Let's try Furina one more time. It's no shock that Furina is the better buffer. I mean, she's absolutely crazy. Plus, I think just having 3 elements on the team instead of 2 helps Chasca a lot as well. All right, let's give it one more try here. Hopefully we get enough energy to burst after. Jesus! It's like 1/4 of his health every time! Every single shot's like 1/4 of his health. I can't imagine how crazy this would be a C6. I need C6 immediately. My God, give me C6. Hoyo, bring the banner back. I made a mistake. Hoyo, please, I made a mistake. Bring it back. All right, guys, and for the road, we're gonna do Sigewinne C6R5 on 4-piece emblem. 9, 12, 12 talents. We've got our 45,000 HP. Her crit rate gets super boosted by C6, and we've got 180% crit damage. As you can see from her C6, she gets 20% crit rate, and then also from the weapon, she gets 56% crit rate at R5. So that's 76% extra crit rate on top of the 28 we already have. That, I believe, is over 100% crit rate, or pretty darn close to it. All right, for the memes, let's go. right, Sigewinne, come on, let's go. Mini Hydro Dragon. What? Excuse me? Wait, that's 280k. I think I saw 300k in there. Jesus Christ, Sigewinne, what the fuck? Harm assist to the max. I love it. Oh, that never gets old for me. I love that so much. Never gets old. 51,000 HP with the Hydro Resonance. Jesus. All right, guys, there's so many more teams I could show off from here. There's so many more Hydro and Pyro DPSs I could do. We may save that for another video. I may have to do a part 2. If you guys want to see a part 2 down below, let me know. I will be doing a DPS Citlali video soon, and I would like to show off Mavuika as a support as well, so those are coming. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the showcase. I will see you in the next one. Peace.